Hey YouTube, this is Master Maniac and welcome back to episode 6 of Satisfactory. Last time we did some shenanigans over that away and got our hands on some motors and encased industrial beams, and no, that's not a mirage there in the desert. I did in fact build something around that, and I'll show you the time lapse for that here later. For now, I've got everything set up to unlock oil processing. Let's go ahead and do that. Now that should give us access to, under production, refineries. Good. Ooh, and they take steel pipes. Okay. Good to know. What about oil extractors? All stuff that we can do pretty easily. Okay. Well then, I guess without further ado, it's time to go and get ourselves some plastic and rubber and, well, all of the things. And you know what? While we're over here looking at all of this stuff, all the oil and stuff, by the way, this is where I'm going to get oil, should maybe consider setting up a blueprint for an oil frame thing. Let's look at half foundation. How's that fit? Pretty well, okay. And so now the seam of this foundation is where that comes down, so that's where I'm going to be able to do a little bit of decorative stuff. So I'll set this up pretty similar to the way I did the regular miners. And I'll also do some logistics here. And let's get a pipeline support. Hold on. Let's do foundational stuff first. And I do want this to at least be similar. Alright, so then we can come up a little bit to like there. And then over like that. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. I do think that these may need to be up a little bit higher. Are we okay with those sticking up a little higher? I think so. Now, is that even? That looks pretty even to me. With that action? Yeah. Yeah, that much I can work with. Okay, so if we look, these are going to sit right about there, and a good chunk of the back is going to be left out of these. Oh, that's interesting. Is that something that I could get away with? That is certainly an interesting shape. And that's doing something. I need to get rid of those. And try this a slightly different way. What if I slap a connector there and there? But now that's a problem. Well, those definitely look off. That's better. Yeah, that much I can get behind. Just for giggles. How does that look? With the braided cable in the middle, it just kind of looks dark. The shape's cool, but I don't think I would do that here. I think this is about the furthest I would go with that. Gotta love these fans so much. They just fit so well with everything. Okay, and that should go all the way up. And that should go up. Looking good, can't complain about that. Ooh, what if I did those in the same way, coming down to... Oh no, you're gonna tilt in a really weird way. Yeah, why are you doing that? I need you to not. I need to see how this sits on this one. And see, that's why I like to have a place to set these, like, next to where the ore nodes and stuff are. Okay, so there's still like a pretty good chunk of space up and above that. Okay. The half meter really isn't going to help that too much. I should consider getting up to the top there and doing something about this. Ooh, oh, I like that as an option. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks great. I may have to use fly mod here. Okay, so if I were to do something like this, and we come up here, and we pull those down because we now have a blueprint. Yay! Good. Not sure if I feel the same about those two. That's okay. Because I can duplicate this all the way around. Yeah, that definitely works. Now, I still need to figure out what the hell's going on with this fan. What if I did... Ooh, I like that as a detail. Yeah, that's the good stuff. Right there. Right. Is that correct? That is correct. Should look completely fine, I think. Yeah. An interesting solution to that. Now, I do worry that that's going to be entirely too tall and it's going to clip through this, but I guess there's only one way to find out. And we pull this towards us one. Is that correct? Actually, I think I'm pretty much entirely okay with this. The only thing that I think I'm missing is going to be power, which is an easy issue to solve. Alright, there we go. So now I should have a blueprint under architecture for this. Bring it one over toward me. Let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, absolutely. And then we paint the oil extractor with that. And it all just kind of fits together. Ooh. Ooh, look at that. Unfortunately, my idea for the power looks like it's not going to work. Can I even get to power outlet? I don't think so. This guy, that's okay. I just connect it down to that. There we go. That seems pretty good to me, and I can connect that up however I need to later. So how much is this going to give me? 120? Oh, that's a normal node? Yeah, that's a normal node. Okay. Well then, let me grab this and hook it up. I guess we can paint all the pipes and stuff later. Let me throw down a few more of these and see what we can come up with. I'm thinking we can do the processing out here and just build like a, I don't know, I guess like an oil rig up here, right? I mean, I know that's kind of basic, but look at the area. I mean, it would fit in so well. Maybe decorate it similar to this or something? Oh. Yeah, I like this. And I think these came out pretty dang good. I will share. So these are the first two that I placed with the normal placement method. Just trying to bring. Doing the snapping the same way that I did with the regular miners, the ore miners over there. This one, I found that if you instead push it in the opposite direction, you've got a really solid power connection right here that just fits in so beautifully. And it works so well. These fans do stick out of the top of these a little bit, but with the paint and everything, like if I come down here, you can see where it kind of looks like there's some support material there holding it in place. I'm really enjoying the way these have come out. So that is great, and that means that I can move on to this, which is going to be where we are going to pull everything up at. And I'm not entirely sure how I want to go about that. So how about we procrastinate a little bit and mark out the area that will be the drilling rig itself. Alright, so I'm going to leave these foundations here to kind of mark out the area that we'll be working in, and it's pretty reasonable. It's not the biggest zone in the world, but this is pretty much exclusively going to be for plastic and rubber. I am going to need to bring some heavy oil residue, though, at some point. So I'm going to have to do something about that. How do I make that? Oh, okay. And then petroleum coke is made from that? Okay. Okay, okay. Well, now that I know, how about let's work on getting the upper platform built? Or maybe I should look at some reference material first. Alright, time to launch another thing because I need power out there. And this is going to help out quite a bit. Oh, the price is the same between these two. Okay. No matter. This will be primarily to go from point A to point B. I'll be able to, I guess, connect this up somewhere. Right there is actually completely acceptable. Apologies, had a little hiccup there. Alright. Do I have my zip line? I do. Okay. Very good. So the cool thing with these power towers is that the wire reach is enormous. You can place these dudes from so far away, and that's like the big major selling point for them. Also, they're pretty cheap. I mean, you can see what materials it's costing for them. Oh, spicy rock. Spicy rock. No thank you. But that's not even the best part, in my opinion. And the best part is certainly opinion related. You can use your... Oh, there's the platform. Hell yeah. You can use... Can I place... Oh, that is beautiful. Beautiful. You can use a zip line on these to get from point A to point B. So, if I were to do some of that action, please get out of there. Get into my hand. Yeah, I can just scoot on down. Just make sure you use sprint. That will actively make you faster. Okay. Good thing that didn't just spit me off wherever it felt like. Alright, cool. So this is going to be our upper area, and we've got 360 crude oil coming in. Looks like both of the recipes for iron, or for plastic and rubber, take... we'll take 30 per minute in. So that'll be, what, 360 divided by 30. That'll be up to 12 machines. So I can do 6 refineries of each thing. Okay, that should be doable. The production refinery. I should consider making a blueprint for this, but I don't need anything super sophisticated right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can I fit them all? 10. I cannot. At least not on that side. But I could on this side, though. 12. There is exactly enough room for all 12 of these. Okay. Oh, that's good to know. I'm not sure if I want all 12 of them on one side, though. I'm having an indecisive day. Alright, that's definitely doable. Let's see, we'll say that these are going to be the plastic. And we'll say that these are going to be rubber. Did I do the wrong thing for these? No. Out of curiosity, residual plastic requires water. Gotcha. Okay. Copy, paste, paste. There we go. Yeah, that should do it for sure. And then we can worry about how we're going to get the piping into all of these. Alright, well that took me a little bit to get worked out, but I think I've finally done it, and it shouldn't actually be that bad. So, I just need to grab some of this crude oil here, and bring it over to these guys. And I don't think I actually hooked these up in the back over here, but that's okay. Alright, should be good to bring this over to here, almost. Alright, that should handle all the inputs for the rubber. How do you... Not great. If I were to go from side, that's a bit better. And without a doubt, these are going to need some pumps. There's no way this crude oil is getting all the way up here without some fluid pumpery going on. Alright, so we've got these. The next thing that I think I might need... actually... I don't think I want to do it here. I think I want to temporarily get these guys turned on and running. I don't really care if these are off-center or whatever. I just want to make sure that they're good to run for now. But basically, I just want to get power situated with these guys. That way, I can start building up some plastic and some rubber, and unlock a couple of things in the MAM that require them. Alright, good. That makes that a little bit easier. And then I guess... we can bring this along over here and use it to power our elevator. Yeah, straight's fine for that. And then we'll go with a junction right around here. I do kind of want this to look a little bit messy. There we go. Alright, I can work with that. Then I'll grab a junction. I'll grab you and see if I can nicely curve that in. I sure can. Yeah, I know the pipe turns too sharply to attach, but that's okay. I should still be able to place that if I nudge it, and I guess that's not going to happen. Okay. If I do that, how does that fit? Almost perfect. Good. Means I can do that. I can do that. And it'll look almost natural. Emphasis on the almost. Okay. next step will be to put a power pole here. We'll get the pipeline pump. That does not make it all the way up, but that's okay. That means I can run power for all of these, which I guess could have technically been just powered from above, but it'll be alright. Alright, so we should be good to go here, and we should see some plastic and rubber being made. The problem's going to be heavy oil residue. Just because it's got nowhere to go for now. But hey, plastic. That's good. What about rubber? Rubber is also good. Hell yeah. Alright, let this run for a minute. I'm gonna get on my way back to base. And I'll unlock the recipes that I need to, and then show you how I intend to get all of this back home. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and what we're going to be doing to move this stuff around is gonna be... This looks lined up pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and drop one of them down. And set this to blueprint mode, and hopefully... Oh, baby, it works. Okay. So, yeah, I set up a nice little blueprint here for a little roadway that we can run across the entire desert if we so wish. We are definitely going to have to bring it back over towards the space elevator there, because that's where the fuel is going to be. But I'll take it from here and run it all the way over to oil area and use trucks and stuff to scoop up everything we need. The question is going to be, how much coal is it going to take per round trip, right? Ooh, I thought I was being clever with the spacing on those lights, and apparently I was not. Oh well. Yeah, so I guess let me get this built up and... Ooh. Ooh, maybe I can throw the time lapse for that up whilst I time lapse this at the same time? Yeah, two things at once. Because that was like my first time ever making a time lapse. And I learned a lot of things about camera angles from that. I got almost no salvageable footage from that. Not because it was like corrupted or anything, purely because I had really bad camera angles, and now I know better. So let's get this road built out, and we can sort of do a little bit of back and forth of footage between that build and this build, and we'll see how that goes. And we're back. And I've done all of this with the blueprints that I have the patience to do. Uh, so part of the problem that I'm having right now is that my inventory is limited in capacity, and so are my dimensional depots, and also the upload speed kinda fucking sucks. So how's about I do this the cheesy way? Yeah, I'm gonna need more concrete. Of course I am. How about I do this the cheesy way? We'll just get the road portion of these roads set up. And we'll worry about the pretty portion of it later. Because this episode I would like to at least attempt to get a jetpack. And that'll help out quite a lot with exploring, and I can run around and scoop up a ton of those Mercer spheres in between episodes. Because exploration in Satisfactory is primarily gated by vertical movement and explosives, which are both things that I intend to solve today. Let me just run these foundations and stuff over where I need them, and I'll be right back. Welcome back. For the time being, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and launch this Logistics Mark IV. This will give us access to the Mark IV belts and belt lifts and everything, but more importantly, gives us access to the truck. And the truck is what I'm going to be primarily populating this highway with. And if I come up, well, I guess I can show you on the map. So all of the areas that have been decorated are these with like the yellow borders. And as you can see, it is a comically tiny space of the highway. So we've still got a ways to go for the decorating, but all of this has at least had the pavement laid for it. So should be able to set up some truck stations and get them up and moving. First and foremost being up here on this side because I need to get the coal pumped into it for fueling. And then I need to decide where my central sort of designated drop-off area is going to be. Basically, I want trucks scooting all over this biome, bringing whatever they need to bring to a centralized location. I think that would be pretty cool and useful. I'll probably also have trucks set up to deliver fuel for anything that needs to simply deliver materials between factories. Basically anything that'll be delivering to or from and not stopping at wherever the centralized location is going to be. So, yeah. Give me just a moment and I'll show you how I'm setting up the fuel pickup. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. This area here, I think I'm gonna make the drop-off point for all of the goods that come into big general purpose factory here. So this is where the fuel's gonna get picked up, and it's gonna get brought along here and dropped off at this station. That way it's just one less truck going into here and potentially clogging everything up. And then over here, I'm going to set up just a ton of drop-off points, just as many as I think I could ever possibly need. Some of them may end up with overflow systems to go into awesome sinks, like the plastic one over here. Plastic and rubber both going to be on the same truck. So those may be set up so that overflow of those goes into an awesome sink so as to not halt production of this. Also, I need to get the decorated part of this run so that I can get the pipeline up and running to bring heavy oil residue over here, because I'll need that for explosives, for smokeless powder specifically. So that's going to be another truck that's going to come in here. So yeah, that's the plan, and here's where we're currently sitting. So I guess I'm going to have to figure something out with that. But yeah, we've got a total of 450 coal coming in per minute. So it shouldn't be that big of an issue to... Well, honestly, I don't know how much it consumes per minute, these trucks. I'm gonna say... No, it doesn't say. But regardless, we've got huge storage in there. So yeah, that's why I wanted the truck specifically for this. So yeah, let me do a little bit more work and come up with something for drop-off points. Alright, so looking at this, I went ahead, I don't remember if this was built for the last clip, but I did go ahead and run a belt just to make sure that everything could get out of here. How do we feel about the way this looks? Initially, I wanted to do just a big billboard here to show what's being dropped off at each station, but I'm not sure. I can't do that if there's more than one product here. So I think I'd rather just leave it as is. I do kind of like this sort of, I don't know what to call it, maybe cantilevered support wire here. I think that looks pretty nice, especially considering that this is supported on the front and might tip over. So it's holding it in place. I don't know. I thought it was a nice little decorative touch. Also, yes, I am using Fly Mod. No, I will not be using it for exploration, but holy crappo, is it good for building factories that are elevated way up off the ground and have limited access points. So, yeah, I will be making use of this for building at the very least until we get the hover pack. Alright, well, if I'm gonna do automated trucks, I guess I need to start recording paths and stuff for at least this one. Try and keep it in the center. This is the part that's going to be a massive pain no matter how I do it, because I got to stay as close as possible to that center line. Because the sort of railings for my decorative road thing come a little bit up onto, come a little bit over onto the foundations here on the sides. So I got to make sure that I'm leaving adequate space for that. Actually, a reasonable little turn there. Okay. Good. I was worried that some of these turns would be a bit too sharp for the big truck, but it looks like we are all good currently. You can stop here and just wait a minute for it to load up the cargo. That's gonna bother me. I'm not gonna change it, but that is definitely gonna bother me. That hole not being in alignment with where the cargo drops down into there. Give it just a minute, let it finish filling, and then we get scooting. There we go, stay close to the center. I don't expect to have a ton of trucks coming down this one side specifically, so. Mostly just because there's not a whole lot of ore nodes, like, on that little branch there. There's not going to be a whole lot of stuff for me to grab except for this coal. Yeah, you can kind of see right there ahead of me that little railing comes back a little ways onto the road. Ooh. I should see if I can edit the location of a node. really rather not have to, but okay. Dune coal transport, let's say. Oh, toot toot. Okay. Let's see now. Why? Oh. Oh, my camera's being weird. Oh, why is that? Uh, is it because? Yeah, it's because I was flying. Can you stop that, please, game? All right, now let's edit this. Oh, you can't edit the location of a node. Okay. Well then, there a stop node over here? I guess not. I guess let's enable autopilot. Or maybe disable autopilot and then load this path and then enable autopilot? You know, I think there's a reasonable possibility that this is going to be far more unloading bays than I will ever possibly need. And I think that's a risk that I'm willing to take. By the way, working on some walking paths down here. Unsure where the outputs for these things are gonna go to. I was gonna do them down below, but honestly, doing them like running them along the ceiling at least until they're out of the unloading area seems like a good idea. Maybe having a bus that rocks along this wall for all the things getting unloaded here. I don't know. We'll see. There will be like a little, at least a little ledge up like this, running along here for this factory. And I think I'm going to make this factory here be purely for weapons manufacturing, ammo and explosives and all that good stuff. So yeah, that seems like a good idea to me. Also, lights are working. I hope that is because of, yeah, that is because of the sun. Okay. I was going to say, how is this casting its own shadow with its own light? But it turns out I'm just dumb. All right. Full disclaimer, the big thing that's holding me up on building this is constantly having to run back and forth and get materials. Fly mode makes that a whole lot easier, so I'm going to be doing that for now, at least until I get down there. Because I'm going to need the underside areas for running pipes and stuff to these. So, yeah, also, let me just get over there real quick. So here is my, you're gonna go back to normal, there we go. Here is my little road transition thing, and this is the top and bottom ends of the slope. There is a middle piece that's just 4-meter slopes all the way down, or I guess the 8-meter slopes. Let me. The double ramp 8 meters, yeah. So there's a third piece that would fit in the middle of these two blueprints for that. But I've had a weird issue exactly like this right here, where not everything got saved into the blueprint, despite being there when I built the blueprint. So that's a mild degree of concern for me. But I'm gonna need to pipe the heavy oil residue all the way back over to there. So I need the underside, and if I'm gonna do that, I might as well fully build it. And use the fly mod. Look, I want to be transparent with y'all. Yes, I'm cheating. Frankly, I'm cheating to save myself a little bit of time. So please cut me some slack, please and thank you. Yay! All right, I'll be back with y'all in a moment. Alright, we are back and I've done all that I can. I'm actually pretty close to having it complete, it looks like. Or at least the path down to here. The problem that I'm having now is I'm out of concrete, so I tore down all our concrete things. I know that sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but what I'm gonna do, slap a Mark II on here, and then come back over here and grab power shards? Do I have power shards in here? I do. And we will speed these up. That should be 150. Very good. And actually, let me... I cannot express to you how much fiddling that took, and I still wasn't able to get it right. So where these snap is incorrect, because these floor holes are here just for decoration. This is actually one whole big piece that runs from the bottom there into the top one. But for whatever reason, with the floor hole, well, here, I'll show you. Let me get a floor hole center there, with a lift going up, and for good measure, let's grab a constructor. Okay, so if I want this to go into that constructor, too bad. For some reason, the the splitter snaps to the floor hole. That there's no other way around it. Now I could do something like that and then do this. But again, the floor hole gets in the way. So what I ended up doing was closer to that. And as you can see, when you do that, it don't line up. And I can't nudge it into place because when you set it up to nudge, it's no longer connected to the thing. And you can't just place it in the air. That would be sacrilege. No. You can't do, oh, I don't know. The same damn thing that you can do, oh, that was a vertical splitter. Yeah, you can't do the same damn thing you can do with the other variant of the exact same thing. No. No. That's illegal. It's just not allowed. Okay. Rant over. Now it's going to be time to get all of this down to le bottom. How bad does that clip in? Not that bad, but I can do better. Yeah, that's fine. Then I can do organization, industrial storage. And we can put the dimensional depot on top of that. Oh, it fits beautifully. Okay. Good. Great. So now all I need to do is set up power to all this. Oh, hello, plant. I swear I killed all these plants and stuff before. That's okay. Yeah, I guess all that needs to be done is to get power run and get this maybe somewhat decorated. Although I would bet that I'm going to be doing this later on, expanding this later on. Sorry. Six. Okay. Why are you the wrong way? Oh, are you gonna make me do? No, you're not. Okay. Oh, that is at least an easy fix. There we go, that should work. base, I'm thinking it would be easier to do this. I can do something like this, flatten out concrete, not really. Put the right concrete, no, that. Alright, good, good. Probably gonna do something about how the lines get in here. 5 by 7. Alright, so that means that those should be on the doors themselves. Eh. Or just do 3. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Let's do some that action, and we'll go with this. Why can't I do that? Game. Balls. Strike through this one. And can I have your nudge? You know what? I might be doing something back here anyway. So for now, just do that. And we'll get back like that. That's all good for now. Just like these. I kind of have to break that. Yeah, okay. Let's break it down. Do this one too. Go base it wall, except we'll do this in fix it later. Start it all the way down. It might look a little bit strange on these, but I'm not 100% on there. Let's see how it looks here in just a minute. Alright, now let's do wall holes. Again. Thank you. I can't tell if that's the right thing. I think it is. Alright, cool. And then we do the same thing for here. Let's grab that. And I think right there is the appropriate height. Oh. You're not approaching the right too. Alright, so now I should be able to come down here. Get rid of those. Just do the third one up to them. And I'll do it. Okay. There we go. Go on that front as well. And just go straight down. I think it could use some more detail work, but it's alright for now. Acceptable for a concrete factory, of which we are generating a reasonable amount of concrete. Hell yeah. What is that? 15 times 12? Nope, not 152. That's wrong. Yeah, making 180 concrete per minute. That is nothing to sneeze at. Anyway, like I said, I'm running out of time for this one, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it here for today. Next time, I will hopefully have this road built out, and we'll be able to work on some more road-based infrastructure stuff. Maybe even get involved with some fuel generators. That sounds like a good plan. Where is that? Petroleum power, here we go. Yeah, I've got everything automated to unlock this, so that shouldn't be a problem at all. Yeah, alright. Hope you guys had a good time. Appreciate you coming out and chilling with me, and I'll see y'all next time. Take it easy.